Hello and welcome into another episode of Best Bets. What is going on? My name is Matt O'Leary. I am joined, as always, by Newsday's NFL pick columnist, Joe Manniello. Joe, how are you?
Doing good, Matt. How are you?
Doing pretty good. It was a 3-3 week for you last week, bringing you up to 8-8 so far in the young season. 4-2 for me. 10-6 so far through 3 weeks. But man, we are having a tough time with the New York locals picking these things.
Yes, I'm 1-5 picking in the local team, so I'd be doing well if we don't pick the locals.
Yes, if we took that out, absolutely. But hopefully they make it a little bit easier for us this week. At least the Jets should, I think, anyway. Jets are playing somehow still on Sunday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 9.5 points in this one. Who do you like?
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs. No faith in Zach Wilson. He's just proven again and again he's not an NFL quarterback, and he shouldn't be in there. It's just mind-boggling what Coach Saleh is saying, and just can't take it anymore. It's just infuriating as someone who loves watching football. And last week for some reason I picked them again against the Patriots, and I'm not sure why, but I just don't see them scoring enough points here. Even if the defense keeps Mahomes to 24 or something like that, I just don't see the Jets scoring more than 10. So I have a 27-10. I'll lay the points, a big number. If the Jets somehow play well, good for them, but I just don't see it happening, and it's just unbelievable there in the situation. It should be Rodgers versus Mahomes. It should be a great game. Instead, the best thing about this game is seeing if Taylor Swift is going to show up. So give me the Chiefs minus 9.5, 27-10.
Yeah, this one feels too easy, right? Like, there's just no way that the Jets offense can keep pace. And, the Jets defense could play great. As you said, if they hold them to 24 points, you would think that would be enough to keep this one close. But I just have no faith in this offense getting 10. 10 might be a stretch. I think I got it a 30-6, which is just, it's sad to say that because, as you said, it's only week 4. This was supposed to be Rodgers Mahomes, which we still, for some reason, have not gotten, whether it be someone out for COVID or injuries. It just hasn't linked up that way, which is a real bummer. I wish they would flex this game out of prime time. I don't
think they can, right? I don't think they can until week 5.
No, but they should make an exception for this game because I don't.
Chiefs defense has improved too, so
yeah.
I mean, usually that's like a weak point, but they've been playing really well. So Jaguars scored 9 points against them, so yeah, if the Jets score more than 10, I'd be surprised.
No, exactly, and that's the thing too. The Chiefs, I think, the more casual fan thinks, okay, Chiefs offense, they're going to put up a ton of points, but defensively they're not great. That's not really true anymore. They do have a really solid defense. Chris Jones being back, makes a really big impact. The Jets are going to try to run the ball, but the Chiefs will do what New England did. They'll put 9 in the box and dare Zach Wilson to throw, which he can't do. So this seems very easy. I'm taking the Chiefs minus 9.5 here. As for the Seahawks and Giants, that is Monday Night Football. We have another Monday night primetime game for the New York locals. The Giants are slight favorites, minus 1.5. What's your feel here?
Yeah, I'm not really sure I get this line. I think the Seahawks should be favored here. Well, I was high on both of these teams going into the season. I picked both of them to win the division and go far in the playoffs, but neither has been that impressive. I mean, Seahawks were bad in week 1. They bounced back with a nice win at Detroit in overtime, and last week they beat the Panthers, but it wasn't a convincing win. I mean, they played well, but defense doesn't look that great. I'm picking the Seahawks here because I just think the Giants, to me, as I write in my column this week, the Giants being on prime time, one of the downsides to being on prime time is that people see your games like every play. It's not like you're watching Red Zone or everyone, it's a standalone game. And the Giants defense has a big, big problem. They can't tackle, and that's not good in the NFL. And Seahawks, to me, is similar team to the Niners. They have a lot of big studs on offense, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, the 1-2 running punch with Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. I think it's a bad matchup for the Giants. Even though they had extra time, you saw what they did against the Niners. They were in that game too. Like, people think it's a blowout, 30-12. If they could have just stopped them on 3rd and long, they could have been in that. It was 17-6 at halftime. The Niners scored most of their points on drives where the Giants had them. The defense played well early on and just could not get off the field. And the poor tackling. I think it's a bad matchup. I think the Giants will show up, obviously. I think it'll be a close game. They're home. Basically, it's almost like a must-win because I think they got the Dolphins and the Bills the next 2 weeks. So if they're 1-3, forget about it. I mean, my Giants 12-5 record's not looking good. But I just don't like the matchup. I think the Seahawks have too many playmakers. I think Carroll's such a good coach. And even if Barkley plays, I just don't see the Giants winning this game. So golden rule. If you take a team, if the team getting points is going to win, you take it outright. And the spread is probably not going to matter, 1.5. But I like the Seahawks to win. I don't know, 24-17 kind of game, 24-20.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you on this one too. I think I totally agree. It is a very tough matchup for the New York Giants hosting the Seattle Seahawks. And usually I don't like taking the West Coast teams who have to go all the way to the East Coast, or the East Coast teams playing on the West Coast. Like, that usually plays a difference. But on Monday night, it doesn't really matter as much. It's not like it's a 1 o'clock game on the Sunday slate for this team, and it's really 10 o'clock their time. So I don't think that even really plays a factor in this one. And you're totally right with Seattle. After a really tough first week, they got embarrassed against the Rams. They bounced back, and I thought looked really good the last 2 weeks. And I just think that continues. And you're spot on with the Giants defense. They were really, really good last year, I thought. And this year they've just struggled to make plays and too many missed tackles. And I think Seattle's offense is too good to, not take advantage of it. Geno's been playing great. And they have a stable of weapons on how they could beat you. And I don't think the Giants offense is there to keep pace. So I'll take it 27-20. The Seahawks win on the road, but a tough one for the Giants, that's for sure. As for our game of the week, this should be a stellar matchup. It is the Miami Dolphins against the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are favored by 3 points in this game. Who do you like?
Yeah, I like the Dolphins. I don't say a lot, but I like the Dolphins in this game. I think the better team is getting points, which is always a good thing. And, they're playing in Buffalo, so people say, Buffalo. But it's October 1st, so it's only, I checked the forecast, it's 78 degrees and sunny. So it's not going to be, the weather is going to have nothing to do with this game. No snow, no cold rain, no cold weather, which would always hurt like a Florida team, you would think. But that shouldn't impact this. But the Dolphins, unbelievable. Last week, they were my best bet. I think it's the best bet I've had in 9 years writing the Newsday pick column. So, the Dolphins, last year I picked them to win the Super Bowl, so I feel like I was a year too early. The way they looked, I thought for, Mike McDaniel being in the league for the second year, offense teams would figure him out. It would be harder for them to surprise people, but they have like this motion-happy offense, fastest guys on the planet with both of the running backs and Tyreek Hill, and Tua's look great. So I'm taking the points here. I think they're going to win the game outright. History says the Bills should win because Josh Allen's been great against the Dolphins, 8-2, 27 touchdowns to 5 picks. He always plays well. But last year, they lost at Miami early in the season, and then late in the season, when I think the Dolphins were really undermanned, they had that game. They lost 32-29. It was a Saturday night game. And then in the playoffs, they were with their third-string quarterback, and they almost beat the Dolphins. They lost 34-31. So I don't think that, this is a Bills going to dominate. They're not playing the Commanders like last week. And, the Dolphins are playing the Broncos 70-20. So hard to believe, 70 points. I saw on CBS Sports, this is only the 11th time in NFL history that two teams are facing each other the week after winning by both winning by at least 34 points.
Wow.
37-3 and 70-20. So I was surprised there was that many games, 11. I thought it would be fewer than that, just, around that many blowouts, in the same week. But I just think the Dolphins have too many weapons on offense. And, the Bills, I think the Bills obviously are a contender. They always are. But, after the Jets lost in week 1, they beat two really bad teams, the Raiders and the Commanders. So I don't think the Bills are unbeatable. I think the Dolphins should be the more feared team. This should be closer to a pick 'em. I think 3 points is too many. And I saw the over-under was like 54.5. That's a high over-under, but I think they're going to blow it out. I think it's going to be like both teams will score 30. So give me the Dolphins 37-34 kind of game.
Wow, that'd be a lot of fun, and I'm with you on this one. So we're 3 for 3 so far on these picks, but I like the Dolphins a ton in this game for a lot of reasons. I was going to bring up the Skylar Thompson in the playoff game. The Bills needed almost a miracle to get out of that game against the Dolphins' third-string quarterback, and that's obviously every game is different, but I do think Miami matches up well against this Buffalo defense with the speed that they have, and with Tua healthy, that is going to make such a difference. They've been unstoppable. Now, they're not going to put up a 70 spot on Buffalo. The Buffalo is a significantly more competitive team right now than the Denver Broncos. And another great point, too, that you mentioned, the two teams that Buffalo beat up on are two teams that are really struggling right now. In Washington, they looked awful in that game, and the Raiders just can't score points. So I don't know how much stock I put into that one. Again, the Bills will be a playoff team, and they're a good team. I don't want to completely discredit them, but I totally agree that Miami has looked significantly better through their first 3 games, and I think the offenses show off. I'm going to take a 30-27 win for Miami. I think it's a tight game, a back and forth game, but you're right. This should be closer to a pick 'em. I get it. Buffalo at home, they're gonna get a little bit of the leeway here, but I like Miami a lot in this game. I think they take care of business here and improve their record. What's a best bet? One that really jumps out to you this week?
Well, I mean, I don't like a ton of games this week, but the one game I jumped out to me was the Eagles -8.5 at home against the Commanders. Jalen Hurts 21-1. In his last 22 regular season starts, or 20-1 in the last 21, something like that.
Yep.
The one loss last year, Monday night against Washington, when they were 8-0, and they lost on Monday night. They got surprised. So, I mean, I don't know if it's really a revenge thing, but excuse me, it's something that you got to think of there. I think the bad matchup for the Commanders we saw last week, what the Bills did to them. Sam Howell was sacked 9 times through 4 picks, and now he's going up against a great defensive line with the Eagles. I feel like the Eagles, they're 3-0, but they haven't really hit their stride. So there's still a lot more to go there. And DeAndre Swift has looked great, and I feel like Hurts is getting better with each game. And I think it's a bad matchup for the Commanders. I can see a blowout here. I mean, NFC East games are usually close, but if it's 14-0 early, I don't see the Commanders giving much fight. So I'll be fine laying 8.5. I think the Eagles win by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I like the Eagles play a lot. That's one that I would definitely take a look at as well. I'm going to go with the Chargers -5.5 for my best bet. I know they didn't look great to start their season. They finally got themselves in the win column this past week, but they're taking on the Raiders, who just cannot score. They have not scored more than 20 points yet this year. And I think the Chargers offense, for all the flaws that they have on defense, which there are legitimate concerns with this team, and I'm not sure if they are a playoff team or not, but I have no fear that they're going to put up points in this game, and I have just zero faith that the Raiders are going to be able to score and keep pace with the Chargers in this one. Jimmy G got banged up in that game against Pittsburgh, so we'll see how he looks, coming back after that. And again, the Chargers lost Mike Williams for the season. Don't think it's going to matter. They still have a ton of weapons, and Herbert's just unbelievable and is going to put up a ton of points. So I think this one could get ugly, actually. Maybe 34-14, something like that. I think the
Chargers never win by more than a touchdown.
It definitely feels that way, and who knows? Maybe that bites me, because the Chargers, as you said, they just seem to find ways to lose games and keep games tight, but I don't know. This Raiders team is really, really uninspiring on offense, and I have very little faith that they could keep pace with the Chargers.
Yeah, that's why I'm taking the Chargers too, but I don't feel as confident, because it's just they always seem to find these ways to play these tight games.
Totally fair. How about an underdog that jumps out?
Yeah, not a ton of underdogs this week. I don't love the card, but one that I feel like it's just too many points. I mean, it's based on, to me, it's almost as if it's still based on the preseason, feeling for teams. The Arizona Cardinals getting 14 at San Francisco. I mean, based on the way the Arizona Cardinals have played, I mean, they're 3-0 against the spread. They probably should have beat Washington in week 1, or had a chance at least. I don't know, probably should have, but had a chance. They definitely should have beat the Giants in week 2 with the epic meltdown. And then last week they outplayed the Cowboys, who everyone was picking to go to the Super Bowl. So are they going to be a playoff team? Obviously not. They probably won't win more than 4 games, but the roster is so limited, and the first-year coach and all the issues they have there. But 14 points is a lot. Plus the 49ers next week, they play Dallas. So a Sunday night, which is a great game. That will be our game of the week for sure. I can totally see Niners looking ahead. I mean, it's a division game, but are they really taking Arizona serious? Are they really all in on this week, thinking, oh wow, we really got to show up for the Cardinals? I mean, yeah, they beat the Cowboys, but they're not. I don't think they've taken them seriously as they are against a team like the Cowboys. So I don't know if the motivation level will be there as high as it should be. And the Cardinals, I mean, I don't know, they might be the best first half team in the NFL. They're always, 4th, 15 on my red zone. I see Joshua Dobbs galloping down the field, and they're always scoring first. And what they did against the Giants, they were 20-0 at the half, and Cowboys they were up big early, I think 14-0 or something like that. So 14, I like getting a 14-0 head start. If the 49ers win, 34-17, it wouldn't shock me, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. So I'm hoping that they win by 10 or 13. So I think 14 points is too many, so I'll take all those points.
Yeah, I think you have to. I'm with you. I think you have to take those points. They've looked really, really good. Not really, really good, but significantly better than we thought they would through the first 2 weeks. And they're playing tough, and you got to give them credit for that. So I'm with you. I would take the Cardinals as well. For my underdog pick, I'm going to go with the Rams getting 1.5 against Indianapolis. It looks like Anthony Richardson's going to be back this week, and he has looked good. But this Rams team surprised me. They've been in every one of these games that they played. I know they're 1-2 right now. They looked really good against Seattle. They were in that game against the 49ers, just, a divisional game, but they played them much tighter than people thought they would. And then they had a really good shot against Cincinnati, but they've kept, their opponents to under 20 points in 2 of these 3 games. Indianapolis, I'm very curious to see what Anthony Richardson looks like after missing a week, coming back in and playing in this game. And I think it'll be a tight one, but as you mentioned earlier with Seattle, if there's a team that's getting, it's a low spread and they're getting points and you think they could win outright, I think you should take it. And that's kind of how I feel with this Rams team. I don't really love a ton of underdogs this week outside of the ones that we picked or that you mentioned, so that's also a factor that went into this, but I like the Rams going there and winning against Indianapolis. I think they get the job done and win this outright.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. To me, it's a toss-up game. I took the Colts. I feel like last week's win at Baltimore was nice, and it seemed like they got something going on there offensively a little bit. So I'm not really sure what to make of the Rams. I feel like they, without Cooper Kupp, they don't really have much offense, and I don't know. It should be an interesting game.
Absolutely. So we'll run through these real quick. Both Joe and I are on the Chiefs minus 9.5. Seahawks and Giants both taking the Seahawks plus 1.5. And our game of the week, Dolphins and Bills, both on the Dolphins plus 3. Best bet, Joe's going with the Eagles minus 8.5. Chargers minus 5.5 for me. Underdog, we just mentioned, I'm going to go with the Rams plus 1.5, and Joe is taking the Cardinals plus 14 against the 49ers. Joe, really appreciate you joining me as always, and we'll talk soon.
All right, Matt. Thank you.